Hey guys, what's up? Zax here. Today we are here to talk about a possible couple of release dates for F1 2014. Now, I saw Wrightbox's video yesterday, I'll leave it down in the description, where he found F1 2014 supposedly leaked on, I think it was a Spanish Amazon. So I'll leave that link down in the description to go and check out his video. And basically yesterday on Twitter I was talking about some possible release dates. I've been looking through some old release dates of F1 games and just trying to figure out when this game could be released. I mean, there hasn't really been any news, so I'm just sort of in a way making up some news just to, not making up in a way. Speculating on some news is probably the better thing to say, but I've got the release dates from F1 2010 down to F1 2013 and got loads of different facts and figures here to try and work out a release date. So I went through all this all on Twitter yesterday, so some of you might have already seen it, but if not, this is what I was talking about yesterday. So basically, F1 2010 all the way down to F1 2012, they're all released on the Friday of the Singapore Grand Prix. So on 2010, that was the 24th of September, 2011, that's the 23rd of September, 2012, that's the 21st of September. So between F1 2010 and F1 2012, they're all released on the same Friday, the Singapore Grand Prix Friday, and then it changed for F1 2013. They're a little bit late with a couple of things, whether it's because of the classic cars, or maybe it was just whether some features weren't working properly. That game, F1 2013, was released about 2 weeks later on the 4th of October in 2013, which was the Friday of the Korean Grand Prix, the 4th of October, and I think it was actually later in America that time, and before that it was America first, but this time it was America second. So it's also interesting to see them sort of taking the European side of things over the last year or so, and I wonder if that's going to be the same for F1 2014, but as there's no Korean Grand Prix this year, I was thinking, what is the replacement? And looking at the calendar and what's that in that sort of that time of year, and what's the different Grand Prix? It's definitely the Russian Grand Prix. Seems to be the different Grand Prix in that sort of section of time. So the Russian Grand Prix is on the 10th to the 12th of October. So would it be on the 10th of October, the Russian Grand Prix Friday, as the Korean Grand Prix replacement? I'm not too sure. There's lots of different things that I'm thinking about at the same time. So it could either be the Russian Grand Prix, but it could also be the Japanese Grand Prix, because the 4th of October last year was also the first Friday of that month. And this is where it's going to get complicated, alright? So the 4th of October 2013 was the first Friday of that month. But on the 3rd of October this year, that's the first Friday of October. And that's also a Japanese Grand Prix Friday. So you'll recognise that every single one of these release dates, they've all been on a Grand Prix Friday. So looking at that sort of range as well, it's either going to be, if they stick to what they were doing last year, it's either going to be the first Friday of the month, which would be the Japanese Grand Prix. It would be the replacement for the Korean Grand Prix, which would be the Russian Grand Prix, which would be the 10th. So this has got really complicated in my head. If you want a clear explanation, go and look at my Twitter, because that's where I've explained it all a lot better. It's hard to put it into words, I think, as I talked about it, but pretty much to sum up what I've been saying, F1 2010 to F1 2012 were all released on the Singapore Grand Prix Friday. 2013 was released on the Korean Grand Prix Friday, but as there isn't a Korean Grand Prix this year, it's either going to be what I'm thinking, it's going to be another Grand Prix in that month, which could either be the first Friday of the month, which would be the Japanese Grand Prix, or it would be the replacement for the Korean Grand Prix, which would be the Russian Grand Prix on the 10th of October. Now, I'm probably completely wrong, and this is just something I've been sort of thinking about the last couple of days. Lots of people bring out release dates and possible things that will be happening with the game, and I just thought it would be quite interesting to see sort of the historic patterns of Codemasters F1 games, and just see if that has any sort of relevance to where this could be this year. But in my opinion, the most realistic release date is probably the 3rd of October, but then again, we haven't had much information, so it could even be later. I mean, I was saying yesterday, I wouldn't mind if it was the last day of the year, as long as the game is as good as it possibly best as it could possibly be. And I think that's what all of us as F1 fans want, just the best possible game. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, it's been Axe out here. Goodbye.